Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to begin our LaunchED virtual Q&A session. This session is best viewed in Internet Explorer 11, Google Chrome, or YouTube mobile applications. Welcome to the Spring 2018 Digital Learning Community Question and Answer session, streaming live now on YouTube. Today we will share information with you on behalf of a broad array of district teams who provide school site support. I'm Marielle Milano, Director for Digital Curriculum and Instructional Design. I'll be presenting and moderating today's session. So if you're worried that you may not be in the correct place, don't be. This session is for any parent, student, or community member who has an interest in digital learning next year. All of the schools listed on the chart on your screen are part of the LaunchED digital learning program, where we provide a laptop or tablet to all students. OCPS is committed to providing just what you need, just in time. This session is the first of 3 sessions designed to help families transition to digital learning. If you were not able to attend the Parent Academy sessions, which focused on the why the district is switching to digital learning, a recording of that session has or will be posted to your school's social media sites, such as Facebook or Twitter. Today's session is going to focus on the what. What exactly will be changing on your school's campus when it comes to digital learning? After today's session, you'll be able to understand what digital learning is and be able to identify the changes it will bring for your family. So let's get started. Today, we're going to discuss what digital learning is, what the goals for digital learning are, and what changes you can expect as a parent. And perhaps the most important thing, what you can do to help prepare your family now. At any time in this presentation, you can exit full screen and post a question in the chat box. I'll be answering them at designated question breaks. Let's start with what is digital learning. The state of Florida defines digital learning as high-quality content in a digital format and online courses, personalized digital learning, a means for students to demonstrate competency in their coursework, high-quality instructional materials that are provided in a digital format, like textbooks, online and blended learning courses in a learning management system, most importantly, high-quality instruction from in-person teachers, infrastructure like wireless that supports digital learning at your school, the online administration of classroom assessments, and my favorite, digital tools for the creation, collaboration, and communication that goes on in class every day. The district has identified 5 goals for digital learning. These goals include all students being digital learners with access to digital tools and resources that they need to achieve the full depth of the Florida standards and close achievement gaps. It also includes all of our instructional and administrative staff being prepared to deliver the next generation of instruction and assessment using integrated technology and digital tools. It also includes all staff and students demonstrating digital literacy in a secure learning and working environment. All of our schools being ready for the next generation of curriculum, instructional technology, and assessment. And finally, all of our community members having the knowledge and tools necessary to support student achievement. That's you. These goals are going to require a change in the way that the district does business in many areas. Next year, parents can expect to see changes in the classroom environment, classroom curriculum, classroom instruction, and the home school connection. The classroom environment, or the physical classroom, will be one of the first things that students notice that will change. They'll notice changes to the way instruction happens in their classroom, the physical classroom technology, classroom organization, classroom management, and even the procedures in their classroom. First, let's talk about some of the changes to the instructional model. You might be wondering when your student is going to use technology. And the answer is almost every day in almost everything they do. Students will use technology to support learning daily in whole group, small group, and individual instruction facilitated by an in-person teacher. This happens in a traditional school. This is called blended learning because it involves a blend of face-to-face instruction that's enhanced by the use of technology. It is not the same as virtual school. I'm sure the first thing that you're beginning to think is, does this mean my students will never be allowed to use pencil and paper? No, of course not. This does not mean that students will never use paper again, but many classrooms use an overabundance of paper in instruction now. The blended model moves classrooms from paper full to paper purposed. Most students will use paper instructional materials only when that functionality is not available in a digital format or when it might not be developmentally appropriate for them to do so. In order to enable blended learning, the district has funded some major changes to classroom technology. Right now, our information technology and facilities teams are in the process of enhancing the classrooms that your students will be learning in. Some of the changes you can expect to see include overhead projectors that will be replaced by document cameras that project a document onto an interactive screen for viewing, traditional whiteboards that we wrote on with dry erase markers being replaced by interactive touchscreen flat panels displaying lesson content from the teacher and inviting students to come up and manipulate that content. And the most dramatic change is that the shared desktop workstations will all be gone, and all of our students will be provided a laptop device from which their instructional material will be provided. Having interactive technology in all areas of the classroom will allow students to move out of traditional rows and into collaborative and interactive small groups where they can get just what they need just in time. As a parent, it's important to remember that with all of the movement that will be happening during the day, students will not be chained to a single desk, and your student will need a fully charged device to take advantage of the day. Students should plan to charge their device overnight, as there will be a limited number of outlets available at schools for emergency use with a student provided charger. When you visit your student's classroom next year, you may also notice some changes to procedures. For example, when you enter most classrooms now, there is work or assignments on the board ready for students to view. But in the future, students will find that same work now in Canvas, our learning management system. The benefit to this is that students can engage in online polls and collaboration, giving teachers a better sense of where students are and how to begin their lessons. Nearly everyone has seen a teacher walking around the room to supervise students and make sure that they're engaged and on task. This won't change, but you're also going to see teachers using classroom management software on their computer to make sure that students are supervised online as well. Safety is our top priority. Let's take a brief question break. And if you have questions, please exit the full screen viewing mode and type them into our chat box. I'll be answering your questions in real time. Okay, 30 seconds to get your questions in. I see a question about carrying a laptop and how that will decrease the need for other supplies. So that's a great question. Starting next year, your students will not be carrying textbooks to and from school any longer. They're going to be using their laptop to access most of their instructional materials. So you should see that their book bag is much lighter than it is now. We'll stop in a few more moments to ask additional questions. The classroom environment is not the only thing that will be changing. There will be changes to curriculum too. You will see changes to the instructional materials format, and you'll see that literacy takes on a whole new meaning. The most obvious change you're going to see is the one that Ms. Gatto was asking about just a moment ago. Most of our students will not be carrying textbooks home each night, but will instead have access to an electronic or digital copy of their textbook that they can access anytime, anywhere through our district's LaunchPad. Reading online textbooks is one of the many new skills that students will need to learn. In the past, students have learned to be literate in traditional subject areas such as reading, mathematics, science, and social studies in school. But future-ready students must also be literate in something called digital literacy. But don't worry, this isn't a new class that students have to take, but rather skills they'll pick up on within their existing classes, such as how to be responsible online, how to use digital tools, and how to access all of the information that they need online. I see another question has come in, so we're going to pause for a moment and make sure that that question gets answered. All of your students' assignments are going to be turned in online, and so you should not see that there are notebooks and binders and things of that nature that are being requested by the school next year. I wouldn't anticipate that your child has more than one notebook with them, simply because all of the actual work that students are doing is going to be turned in online. And that's a significant difference from the way things are today. There'll be some additional opportunities to ask more questions as our next section goes on. This next section is about the changes that parents can expect to see in classroom instruction. Let's first consider how students will use and access the internet at home. Students will start using online applications as part of their learning experience on the first day of school. Students will use things like Gmail, Calendar, Google Drive, and the Google Application Suite to collaborate and complete their assignments. They'll also begin to use Canvas, our learning management system, and other OCPS systems that provide educational content. To make sure that all of this goes smoothly, schools have been updated so that they have wireless internet access in all instructional areas of the school. A big concern for parents is always safety, as it should be. All internet access is filtered, and the security settings on your child's device will be set in compliance with the Children's Internet Protection Act regulations. Filtering is done on the network, not on their device. And internet activity is logged based on the device user, so we can always tell what every student has accessed. Students will have access to many new tools, and it will be important for parents to understand how that access will change what they see every day. Many of the materials we grew up with in school and your students use today, like notebook paper, poster boards, pencils, markers, and even binders, will have a digital alternative in the cloud. For example, students can take notes in Google Docs or create engaging presentations in Google Slides without ever touching traditional tools. The best part is you'll never have to worry about students losing their work because it will all be accessible in the cloud 24/7. Great digital tools give students the opportunity to create great digital products. Our hope is that students will be completing far fewer worksheets and spending more time showing us what they know in dynamic ways, such as creating their own ebooks, infographics, e-newsletters, and even their own websites. The possibilities are truly endless with digital learning. So if the classroom is going to be different, will testing change as well? Well, you might have noticed that over the last few years, the state of Florida has begun to transition to online assessments, such as the Florida Standards Assessment. That transition will continue, but now it may also extend to some of your child's classroom chapter tests and quizzes. The benefit to this for parents and students is they can get real-time access to student progress and not wait for teachers to have to grade something at home. Let's take another brief question break. I'll give you 30 seconds to gather your questions and put them in the chat box so we can answer them for you. I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to keep moving. If you have additional questions, please feel free to stop me. The most important changes to parents will occur in terms of how you interact with the school from home. Let's talk about how you're going to review the student planner, review student notes and work, communicate with parents and teachers, access textbooks, use the internet at home, and most importantly, what your responsibility as a parent for the student device. The first change you'll notice will be on the first day of school. Students will not be issued a paper planner next year, but will rather maintain a calendar in the Canvas Learning Management System, which you can access on the go. This is great news for parents because it will let you get the information you need right when you need it. Your teachers will be able to add assignments in Canvas, and when they add assignments in Canvas, those assignments will automatically show up on the student's calendar. Your student will not be able to delete the information placed on their calendar by teachers. It can also include things like upcoming tests, field trips, and other school events. Parents and students can also add their own personal items, such as sports practice, etc., to the calendar that'll be viewable only by them and their child. You'll also notice that you should be able to save time and money by purchasing far fewer school supplies. Students will really need far fewer, if any, binders, folders, and notebooks. They will keep all of their work in an online folder like Google Drive and submit it in Canvas. It will also be easier than ever for you to talk to your students' teachers through our district learning management system, Canvas. The Canvas Parent app enhances the potential for parents to engage in their child's education. Parents can review upcoming or past assignments, check on grades, and receive course announcements. So, for example, perhaps you would like to be alerted every time your child scores below a 70%, so you can follow up and get them the support they need. Or perhaps you'd like to be notified every time they get a grade above 90%, so that you can celebrate that success. Maybe it's important to you to know every time your child has a missing assignment. All of those are unique notifications you can set up for your child. And best of all, you have the ability to identify how you get those notifications. You can choose to get those notifications via email or text message or even through Twitter. Our board policy states that students are not required to have internet access at home to do their homework. But we've certainly recognized the value of being able to have 24/7 access to learning. So we want to assure parents that if their child uses the internet at home on the district provided laptop, that they're going to be filtered back through the OCPS network. That means that even if they're at Starbucks, they're going to be filtered the same way as if they were at school. Sometimes this surprises parents. So if at home you have internet that allows Twitter to go through, the students still won't be able to access Twitter on our school laptop because it's blocked on our network. If you're out on the go and your child needs to find free community Wi-Fi, there's a map of free community Wi-Fi available on our website, digital.ocps.net. If you do not have wireless internet in your home or know someone who's in that situation, our district is proud to be able to provide each middle school student who qualifies a hotspot with 2 gigs of data monthly at no cost through the T-Mobile EmpowerEd program. Your child is going to be assigned their very own laptop at the beginning of the school year. That device is going to be property of Orange County Public Schools even when it goes home at night. Because laptops are costly to repair and replace, we ask that parents or guardians encourage the student and all other household members, like younger siblings, to maintain proper handling and care of the device. Also, you should consider establishing guidelines on how you want the device used at home, its applications, the use of the internet, and other features. Together, you and your students can acclimate to this new adventure together. If the laptop is ever damaged or lost, it's the responsibility of the parent and student to let the school know right away. If the device is damaged, the student should notify the teacher or the dean at their school. If the device is missing or stolen, the student or parent should immediately contact the tech hotline at 407-317-3290. This phone number is also etched into the top of each laptop in case somebody finds a missing laptop. OCPS works closely with local police agencies to recover any device that we deem stolen. We ask that parents coordinate with OCPS and their law enforcement agencies to report stolen devices. Students are charged a fine for any damaged or missing device that we have assigned to them. This is no different than what we did in the past with textbooks, library books, musical instruments, sports uniforms, or any other equipment that was assigned to your student by OCPS. No matter who is at fault for the damage or a missing device, the fine should be considered more like a deductible for using the device than anything else. Annually, fines are outlined in the Family Technology Handbook. Let's take a moment to stop and answer questions again. I imagine you may have some at this time. Make sure to exit full screen and put your questions in the chat box. No questions? This is your chance. I see 2 questions have come in. Let's get to those. The first question is, can students bring their own device and opt out of an OCPS provided device? The answer is yes. However, there are stipulations. If you visit byd.ocps.net, there is a BYOD buying guide for secondary parents. The device that parents bring in at the secondary level must match the same specifications or better than the district provided device. In other words, we are providing your student with a Windows 10 touchscreen convertible laptop. So if you bring your own device, it must also be a Windows 10 touchscreen convertible laptop. In addition, you must pre-register that device with your school. The form is on Progress Book, and it's labeled Bring Your Own Device. Finally, you must download Land School Classroom Management software, which we provide at no cost on the BYOD website, onto your personally owned device so that the teacher can monitor activity during the school day. Again, all of that information can be found at byd.ocps.net. The second question is, can students keep the same device for all of middle school, or do they return it at the end of each year? The policy as it stands today is that students keep their device through fall break, winter break, and spring break, but return it at the end of the school year and are issued a different device in the fall. Emily, I believe this is the same question as I answered before for another parent. However, I just want to clarify that they can bring their own laptop if that device is Windows 10, touchscreen, and convertible, matches the same specifications as our device, has been pre-registered, and has Land School Classroom Management software on it on the first day of school. Are there any other questions before we move on? Another question has come in relating to summer usage. If your child is attending the district provided summer school, then they will be able to check in and out a device for summer school. But that does not apply to things like Florida virtual school courses, which are optional at the parent's discretion. Oh, I apologize. I didn't know that I missed a question earlier. Let me scroll up Mr. Hornsby or Miss Hornsby and see if I can get your original question. Oh, yes. So the first question, which I apologize I missed, said, will we be providing internet safety classes for children and adults? So the answer is yes. Each year at the beginning of the year, our students are required in grades 6 through 12 to take what we refer to as a digital citizenship class. And that class has different content in each grade level. So, for example, in certain grade levels, they may learn about sharing private information online. In another grade level, they may learn about cyberbullying. In another grade level, they may learn about their digital footprint. But those classes are a part of the requirement at all schools. They are completed in the first week of school within the English classroom, and they're provided online through our Canvas learning management system. As a parent, if you're interested in what those classes are or the topics of those classes, you can visit digital.ocps.net and then click on the students and parents link on the left-hand side of the screen. And the Family and Technology Handbook should appear in the center. The course descriptions are in the Family Technology Handbook. Does that answer your question, Trina? No problem. Emily, your question is still about BYOD. So I just want to remind you that the BYOD buying guide is available at byod.ocps.net. In grades 6 through 12, the only devices that are available or that can be used for BYOD are Windows 10, touchscreen, convertible tablets with a webcam, speakers, and microphone. And the reason for that is that an iPad, quite frankly, cannot do the same exact thing as a Windows 10 touchscreen convertible tablet. And so if a teacher is planning lessons based on the functionality of the district provided device and your child has an iPad with them, then your child won't be able to access the curriculum in the same way as other students. And yes, your student can set up alerts within Canvas for assignments, tests, grades, whatever the case is. And there are two different ways to do that. There's the Canvas website, and then there is also the Canvas Parent mobile app. And then there is the Canvas Student mobile app. And the Canvas Parent mobile app and the Canvas Student mobile app are available on iOS, Android, and Windows 10. And if you need more information about Canvas, you can visit canvasparent.ocps.net. Emily, the way classroom management software works is that the teacher will be able to monitor anything that the student is accessing on their device. So in real time, basically what it does is it shows the teacher a tile of that student's screen, and allows the teacher to control that screen by pushing content to the student, freezing the child's screen if they're off task, sending them a message, sending content, sharing their screen with other students to show high quality work, things of that nature. So if your student had pictures open on their personally owned device, meaning your student had opened that content or had it as a like desktop wallpaper, that sort of thing, then the teacher would be able to see that. Classroom management software, however, only works during the school day. No staff have access to any sort of device outside of the school day. Okay, let's finish up with our last two topics, and then we will go through and answer any more questions that you can think of. Awesome. So right now, I'm sure your brain is kind of spinning and you're thinking, well, what can I do to help my family? Well, the first thing you need to do is save the date. You're going to get an invitation from your school for like the last week of July, first week in August. And that's going to be for a digital open house. And at that digital open house, you're going to learn how to check your students' online planners, binders, files, and grades, how to communicate with your students' teachers, how to help your student with online homework, how basically if fines are assessed. So you'll go through some different scenarios, things like that. And then you're also going to be able to learn how you can fill out the Parent Technology Media Information Consent Form, which is where parents have the option to give permission for their students to have their photo or video used, or for their directory information to be released, like for awards and things like that. You're going to receive that invitation in a couple different ways. One will be through social media for your school, like Facebook or Twitter. Then you're also going to receive an email if you have an email on file with the school. So if you're not sure if you do, you definitely want to make sure you get on there and make sure that's updated. If you have a current phone number, you'll also get a phone call and a text message. At some schools, you may even receive a physical mailing at your address. And all of this you're going to be looking for in mid to late July. In the meantime, I recommend doing what I've always found works best for my family and having a good old-fashioned family meeting. And at that meeting, I would recommend discussing the limits and consequences that you as a parent want to set in your own home. Even though we're sending the device home, you still get to choose how that device is used at your house. So you may have rules about how your child can visit certain video sites or engage in gaming or video voice and text chatting. You may have a rule that says, hey, I only want you to use the device for 1 hour after school. You certainly have the right to discuss those things with your child. And then we also recommend that you discuss the care and responsibility for the device. For example, where will that device be charged at night? We recommend that that would be in a common location, like a family room, living room, or kitchen, not in your child's bedroom. If you're going to have younger siblings or pets in the home, where are you going to charge the device so that the wires and cords are not within reach? Perhaps you have a rule in your home, like I do in my home, that all electronics are used in a common area and we don't use those behind closed doors. So you have those rights as a parent and you don't lose that autonomy. And so we recommend that you take advantage of that and talk about that early and often with your students. So based on that, what additional questions do you have? That's all the new content I have to share, but I want to make sure that you have a chance to answer any questions that I may not have answered in the past or that you feel are just burning questions for you that you need to be put at ease about. Emily has a question about which classes will use the device. All of your child's classes will use the device in some way, but they may be different. So for example, in English, students may be using the device every day to read and take notes and things like that. But in physical education, they may only use the device sparingly. or maybe even just for homework. And so it's going to vary by class to class, but it is for all classes. What other questions do you guys have? No question is too big or too small. We want you to leave feeling confident and secure. Nothing? You guys might be my easiest group yet. I guess everybody is just hungry for lunch. Well, if you have any specific questions or concerns that arise after today, then I want you to know that you can reach out to me and I'll be happy to help. Oh, good. Two questions. One question is, will there be training on the device and software? Do you mean for parents or for students? For parents, we provide device training at the Digital Open House and also at our monthly parent academies, which you probably see notifications for. And those occur monthly at our high schools. We always have sessions on the Canvas Parent app, as well as Google Apps for Education and things of that nature. For students, we provide device training when they actually get their device, which is before school even starts, as well as during the first week of school. So while students are in PE, there is I don't know what to call it, a cart or basically like a place that students put their laptops where they can. Oh, thanks, I got it. So basically, they put their laptop in there, and the PE coach can lock it up in the event that you're at a school where students share lockers and things like that. So we do have that separate device cart in the locker room. While students are in class, obviously they'll have it with them. And then at lunch and things like that, it's the responsibility of the student to keep that device in their backpack and make sure that it's with them at all times. Does that answer your question? Yes, so we do have a process for students to get on-site support with technology. Students can fill out a tech request ticket at studenttechrequest.ocps.net, and that tech request goes to the technology support representative at the school. And then basically what happens is the technology support representative can try to fix the problem remotely, like restarting the computer or pushing an update or something like that. But if they're not able to resolve the problem remotely, then they can come down to the media center during designated periods or hours. So each school has like a sign that says you can meet with your TSR from 9 to 10 or 10 to 11 or whatever the case is. Does that answer your question, Emily? If you guys have any questions that you think of after we leave here today, I'm posting my email and my first and last name in the chat box so that you can reach out to me with any questions that you have. So feel free to take a picture of that or whatever you think you need to do. Oh, awesome. Two more questions. Um, So most schools, Trina, have a process by which they actually label devices themselves with some sort of vinyl cling or sticker or something like that. So I would reach out to your school principal to double check on what their plan is. But if they do not have a plan, then you can use a removable laptop identifier, but it has to be like not like a regular sticker, a special laptop sticker that doesn't leave a residue. Oh, that's a great question, Laura. So we have a platform called launch.ocps.net, and that's what we call our district launchpad. And it's a single sign-on portal. So even tonight, if your child gets home, they all know how to get into Launchpad today because they visited for different reasons. Even if you pulled it up on your phone or a home computer, they'll be able to log in and show you. But basically, it's a one and done login. Once they've logged into launch.ocps.net, then they'll see a whole bunch of like little icons or tiles there, kind of like it would look on an iPad. And once they're in there, if any one of the tiles they click on, they don't have to log into again. So it's basically one login to get into like an ocean of apps. Does that make sense? Oh, I'm so glad it's been helpful, Emily. I really want to make sure that you guys feel as at ease as possible. I have a sixth grade daughter myself, so I absolutely understand the struggles of having a middle schooler and the concerns that you would have as a parent. So I just want to make sure that you guys leave as confident as possible. So you might be wondering how you can access the video after this. So as soon as I stop our broadcast, if you refresh this page, it's going to actually create an immediate video of everything we just discussed. So you'll have access to that, as well as, of course, these will be posted on our website and we'll send them to your school principals as well so that they can post them wherever they see fit. Okay? All right, well, guys, thanks. And I really appreciate you joining me for your lunch break. Contact me if you have any questions, and I hope to see and meet all of you in the future. Have a great day.